Residing at everyone's innermost core is a very special being, free of all taints and therefore completely pure. This is our original nature, the way we always have been, and always will be. This special being has had many different names. It has been called the true self, the original nature, the Buddhahood, the divine in us, etc. As you might have guessed from the name of our channel, we call it True Self. We humans are made of the mind, consciousness, and life energy, which are contained in the physical body. It is the mind, the consciousness, and the life energy that define the essence of humanity, and this triad, the essence of who we are. Our physical body is like a suit of clothes this essence wears. As we said, humans are made of the mind, the consciousness, and the life energy, and so is our true self. The mind of our true self is like the sky. It is completely free, limitless, and untainted. It is empty like space, infinitely peaceful and calm. The mind of our true self holds immeasurable love, immeasurable compassion, and immeasurable wisdom as well as immeasurable peace in it. That is why there is nothing in the universe that our true self cannot embrace. The consciousness of our true self is like an utterly pristine and self-illuminating mirror. It is so clear that it forever reflects everything, and it radiates light like a sun, which always reveals everything. The consciousness of our true self is omniscient, it knows all. The perfect wisdom can be attributed to the consciousness of our true self, one of its many manifestations. The life energy of our true self is like the purest water that can cleanse all negative elements of our physical body, correct all imbalances, and optimally invigorate all life activities. When our physical body is brimming with the life energy of our true self, not only can we heal our own body of all diseases, but also relieve others of their physical illnesses. The true self is just as precious and sacred as the Buddha or any of God's angels. It is as enlightened as the Buddha and as divine as God's angels. Humans are not the only ones privileged to have the true self. All life forms are inherently endowed with the true self too, as precious and sacred as any human being. They are all God's children. However, it is close to impossible to detect the existence of the true self in the lives of most people populating this world. The mind, consciousness, and life energy of most people appear to be quite different from those of the true self. Sometimes, their mind is like the sky completely blocked by ominous black clouds, their consciousness like a mirror thoroughly covered by smudges and stains, and their life energy like polluted water. There seems to be nothing beautiful about them. We can find no trace of an angel, a bodhisattva, or a Buddha. But we were all pure, simple, and beautiful once, when we were newborn babies. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven belongs to those who are like children because when we see them, we have a glimpse of what our true self really looks like. The plane we live in is a grosser, coarser version of a spiritual plane. A spiritual plane is often called heaven, described as an Eden-like paradise, while the plane we are currently occupying can be likened to a desert, where life can be pretty grim, where people can get easily hurt and suffer. As we go through life, we go through all sorts of difficulties, the pain of which causes us to lose the true self-like innocence we all had when we were first born. Our hearts are flooded with all kinds of negative emotions, with our heads full of distracting thoughts. The water of our life force gets all muddied up. It is hard to imagine that underneath all those gritty layers there may lie something as pure and perfect as the true self. However, just because we cannot see our true self, it does not mean it is no longer there. It is still there, ever perfect and pure, never damaged. Allow me to use the analogy of water to explain the relationship between the true self and what we normally look like after a lifetime of living on this plane. Let's say here is a bowl made of perfectly transparent glass, and it holds pristine water. This pristine water is our true self. Now let's say we start to mix pigments in it one by one, adding colors to the water. These pigments represent all the negative feelings and tangled thoughts we experience as we live, and they taint the water of our life energy. At this point, we may mistakenly believe that the original color of the water is those of the pigments. However, no matter what pigments have been added to the water, it can never change or destroy the inherent nature of the water, which has no color. The clear water is still there. Likewise, our true self is still there in us, immutable as ever. Our true self is no different from the true self of a Buddha or God's angels, never to be destroyed or disappear. It is just out of sight, only obscured by temporary feelings and thoughts. All human beings, no, all living beings are inherently divine. And the ultimate purpose of any spiritual discipline is to fully discover this sacredness of our true self. One is enlightened when he or she is fully awakened to the entirety of the true self, with all the obscurations burnt away. We cannot create, develop, or cultivate the true self. We just reveal what has always been there from the very beginning. In the heart of an enlightened being, only the sacred mind, as spacious and limitless like the cloudless blue sky, remains. No agitating, negative emotions are left behind. In the head of an enlightened being, only the consciousness that is like a clear mirror, like a sun perpetually radiating light, remains. All entrapping and convoluted thoughts are gone. In the body of an enlightened being, only the cleanest life energy flows, like pristine water. All tainted life energy is purified. When we face the spiritual path with familiarity with our true self, our attitude can be quite different from those who are unaware of its existence in us. The knowledge and faith in our true self give us greater courage, confidence, and hope on our journey toward enlightenment. When we know that this divine true self is who we really are, it does not feel so daunting a task since it is originally and inherently ours. We can walk the path with a spring in our step. On the other hand, if we do not know or believe in the true self in us, attaining enlightenment and becoming a sacred being feels like a harrowingly difficult thing to achieve. We are likely to be disheartened and discouraged. If we are interested in spiritual practice, start by knowing and believing in the true self in us. Believe in its inherent divinity. Reinforce this belief again and again. Make this our very first step in spiritual practice. Then imagine as vividly as possible how beautiful, radiant, and sacred our true self is. This true self is not something only that existed in the distant past or will be realized in a faraway future. It is here with us right here and right now. Visualize that I am this infinitely precious, beautiful, and sacred being at this very moment. If we cannot rejoice in being such a special being, what can we rejoice in? Be joyous. There can be nothing more joyous than this discovery. Thank you for listening. TrueSelf Meditation Team give you all of our love, and we wish you peace and happiness.